Right, a lot of my students struggled to draw the doors and windows on the buildings today, so hopefully I'm going to help out. The first thing you do, as always, just do your 2 points. Now make sure those are level, okay, and you can even draw a very faint horizon if you like, okay, nice faint line. Right, so to help out, what's the best thing to do to draw your street scene is place a dot down here. Now I'm going to do this in blue so it's nice and clear. And this is going to be the bottom of your buildings. Okay, I'll do that in a blue line. So that's where the buildings meet the pavement. Next, I would probably, the same as last time, do a red line here, just so we have the height of the building. Again, I'll use a blue line. Okay, so you could probably just about see it's starting to take shape. Okay. Now, my students were struggling drawing the pavement. The pavement's nice and easy. You just come down from the edge of the building, somewhere about there. Okay, and I will just draw the pavement straight in. That's going to be the edge of the pavement. You'll notice all of these lines are going up to the vanishing point. Same here. Right, the pavement's obviously got a bit of depth, so add that in. And we're going to add the line underneath. It's a good idea to start quite heavy and actually fade out. It just gives a nice effect, okay? Same for the edge of the pavement here. Get up to the vanishing point, start heavy and fade out. Lovely. And there we can see we've got a nice pavement. Now, what we're going to do is divide it up. This time we're going to put some gaps between our buildings. So you may wish to draw it on the pavement first. There's our first building. Going to leave a little gap. Second building. Remember, the buildings get smaller as they get away from you. Leave a gap. And we'll just go with 3 buildings. Okay? So, let's start with this first building. Keep these lines absolutely upright. Here's our first building. And we're going to do another line here. They don't have to be symmetrical. Keep the line upright. Lovely. Now we can do a nice heavy line around this. And we have our first building. And obviously this one's on the corner. Now, at this point, let's do one more building. We'll put the building behind. Now, this time there's a gap between the buildings. Now, I'm actually going to make this building a slightly different height. I'm going to make it slightly shorter. So I'm just going to move that line down to there, okay? I'll just do a nice light line for now. Okay, now this building is going to be slightly shorter. Again, keep it upright and down. Same for there. Upright and down. Obviously go over it. Now this is the other part. A lot of students tend to just do this freehand and it looks wrong. Okay, this part you have to do from this point over there up to that building and across. Same for the one down the bottom, from that building and across. Okay, and you see you've got a little bit of distance between one. I'll do one more on the other side. Again, leave a little gap here. Okay, I will do this building, let's do this a little bit shorter. So we'll put a little line in there just to get the height a little bit lower. Now we've left the gap. Move it along. Okay, this building is going to be this wide. Make sure your ruler's upright again. There we go. Again, now from this point to that building and down. From this point, that building, I'm just going to do that like. Now that's quite a big gap, so why don't we just put a little car in there? We could put a little car, just have some fun. Put some wheels on it. We'll shade it in, okay? You notice the detail doesn't have to be heavy, but just a little bit of fun. Right, I'll quickly just add in one more buildings. This will be back at the full height. This one's going to be a little bit wider. Obviously, as time goes on, you get a lot quicker at this. Remember, from there, you'll notice this one will go from the top. Small alleyway there. And we'll add one more in here. Same thing, we'll have it back up to the full height. Small alleyway. A little wider, let's make it a cinema or something. Just firm up those lines. Now, most buildings aren't actually, they don't stop at the top here. So we can just add a little lip in that's going to make it look a little bit more realistic, a bit like an architrave. There. You notice everything I'm doing at the moment is from the point, except the car. I just did that by eye. There we go. And it just brings it out, okay? So, going on to the doors, this was the main problem my students were having, is all of their doors, they were tending to do them freehand, and they were looking something like that, which obviously isn't right. Okay, so I'm just going to show you how to do the doors. The key thing is, find the door height. I will do this in blue again. Now the door, let's look at the front one, is roughly going to come probably somewhere up to there. Okay, that's a good door height. Then, in fact, change my mind, just going to put it a little bit higher. Let's put it there. Now, from the vanishing point, this is the height of all of our doors. I'm going to write on those doors. Okay? Likewise, we can then use this line where it joins there to do the height of the doors up here. Because doors are standard height, they're 6'6", so we put the door height in there. Very important. Now, no, let's do the doors now. So we can put some doors in, line down, line down, and we got our first door. I'll put a frame in later. Now as we go away, we use the same line, but obviously this door's going to be in the middle. I'll make this into a nice cafe. That same line, so the door height is exactly the same height. And along, and even back here, this can be my cinema. Door height, all the same. So they gradually move away from you, okay? Obviously, windows are going to be the same height. We don't need a door on each side on here. So I can put my shop window in there. I can decide from this point how high to have the shop window. There, it's good. Again, a lot of my students make the mistake. They do windows and it obviously doesn't look right. So for the windows, again, must use the vanishing point. There and downwards. And I have a window, okay? Again, windows are normally the same height as the doors, so I'm going to line that up and we'll have our second window. You can be really fussy here and you can decide the height of the window from there. Not essential, but if you're feeling really fussy, you can keep those exactly the same height. In fact, that looks much more accurate, so I'm quite pleased with that. Excellent. So, once we get our doors, let's think about the upstairs window. Now, we're going to have the windows coming roughly to about there, so I'm going to do a little point on the corner of the front building. Again, I'll do this line in blue to show you. And this is going to be the window height. Okay, again, use that corner as your reference and up. So we've got the top of our windows. You may wish to do the bottom of the windows. From there, again, always to the vanishing point. To the vanishing point corner, okay? So we'll put a couple of windows in. Vanishing point, and so on. And we can obviously use this same one. Obviously the windows get more narrow as we go back. You see those 3 windows have got more and more narrow. And we fill it in. Okay, so that obviously makes our windows look far more uniform. I'll probably squeeze, we'll squeeze 3 windows in there. Again, it gets wider as it gets nearer the front. You notice that's not exactly right, but it's just a sketch, it's just a bit of fun. Now, I did say perhaps add a clock in. Now, a clock on the wall, we can start it somewhere there. This will make sense in a bit. I'm just going to draw a little bracket for the clock first, from the vanishing point and down. This will make more sense, so that's in line. Okay, in fact, I'll fill that in as a bracket. Now I'm going to put the clock in. It gets a bit complicated because although I'm on this side, I'm not going to use this line. I actually have to use this vanishing point. So add my clock in. From that vanishing point and down. Now obviously this clock's going to have a bit of depth to it, so we use that vanishing point and there we go. A little bit tricky, but give it a go. From this moment I just shade in the bracket for it. Because it's just a sketch, we don't need to do too much detail, just a little clock, and there we go, just a little clock. Some shop signs are obviously going to go in the middle. You'll notice I'm doing it from the vanishing point, as always, vanishing point, hold it, as always, keeping that ruler upright, do some imaginary writing on it. Now, this all looks rather flat, so we're going to put in a few techniques, and there's the easiest one is on the windows. Now we're obviously going to see on the inside of those windows, so we just add a bit of weight. I'm going to see upwards in the sill there, and the samewards in the frame there. Just add those in. Excellent. Now the window down, shop window down here is the opposite. I will see on the inside in there. I will see down there. You notice that I'm starting to do it freehand now. Freehand. Okay. Now to do some windows, there's 2 options. If you like them shiny, you can do that. If you like them a little dull, they've had a bit of dirt on, you can just do little squiggles. Okay. Don't forget to put some. Let's put. Okay, a little bit of detail. Now the doors, you can put frames on. Again, use the vanishing point. To add a little bit of depth, obviously add the shadow in. A little bit of shading. Little centre door there. And some handles. You notice these, I'm starting to do stuff quite light now on a little sign in a window. Windows look a lot better if you put a little sill on them. They look much more convincing. Same there. As I said, some of these things I do start to do a little bit freehand. I do just get my line, just softens it up a bit, but it do start to look a lot better. Again, we'll see on the inside there, inside there. Excellent. Now we need to add depth this time. You can use the side of your pencil if you like. It's a nice quick technique. It's obviously sticking out quite far. Lovely. You could do that for the windowsills as well if you like. Now the light always comes over our left hand shoulder, so obviously some of these areas are going to be particularly dark. Notice I use the side of the pencil here. I tend to just do the corners a bit more firmly than the rest of it, just to suggest. I always like to thicken up the lines we can't see round the corner. Okay, again, can't see round the corner there, make them thick. Can't see round the corner there, make them thick. Can't see over the top of the buildings. Make that line thick. Can't see over the top of the buildings here or there. You may wish to add in an awning here. That's nice and easy to do. Like here, we can use that vanishing point we use for the top of the windows and down. Now obviously that's going to cast quite a heavy shadow, so we can add that in. Put our cafe doors in here. Oops. There we go. Even you can start getting familiar and start putting the windows in yourself. Okay, and so on. Sketch the top. Now, with the light coming over the left-hand shoulder, you can start shading those. The light's gonna just get a bit of shadow under that sill. Same now. I'm just going to shade, as I said, I like to just give a bit of texture to the corners and then we don't have to do the whole shape, which is really nice. Add the depth in here. We'll see the frame there, and the frame there, and we'll see in the top there. Excellent, just a nice quick way. I'm going to firm up this corner line now that I did in red. There we go, so there's our shop. We've obviously got some gaps between these buildings, so again we can just shade these much darker, and as I said, I tend to do the corners a little bit firmer than I do the rest. Again, firm up those lines that you can't see round the corner, can't see round there. Firm it up, can't see round the corner there. A little bit of shading, just doing this very quickly. As I said, for windows you can either put a squiggle or to shine them, depending on how you feel. Either side. You may wish to put a little doormat. You see I'm still using the vanishing points, really important. Okay. Now, let's put a little bus here. Now, to get the bus the right height, we're going to use this vanishing point. That's going to be about that wide. It's going to be that wide. And a double-decker bus will probably come up to somewhere like there on a building. Okay? Again, using the vanishing point, I've got enough, just enough on my ruler. Get the width right. And just get those lines in. Bus is going to look very short back here, and that's absolutely fine. Put some wheels in. Let's put the front windows in. As I said, a lot of my students struggle to put this bus in, and that's absolutely fine. Now just firm up we can't see round the corner there. Firm. Can't see over the top of the bus. Firm. Can't see there. Firm up those lines. I can't see underneath the bus. This side is obviously going to be very dark because the light's coming over our left hand shoulder. These areas are obviously in shade. Now you don't need to make stuff too detailed at the back here. It looks roughly like a bus, that will do absolutely fine. Let's just have a person going on. I tend to keep the people in the background, then we don't have to do them in so much detail, it's nice and quick. When you have to start doing them in the foreground, they tend not to look as good. So just nice little, we could just work out that those are people. So let's just put one more item in. We'll put a little crossing where the bus has stopped. Again, with the vanishing point. With the vanishing points, put the stripes. This is a great exercise. I recommend getting this in. All nice and quick. Just nice and light. We don't need to bring attention to the detail here. Just add a bit of texture to the pavement. We could do this nice and easy. Now you notice I don't do all the lines. I just suggest it every now and again. Just suggesting it. And you give the pavement texture from here. Every now and again. Just suggest it. You can see I keep going from the corner. It's not about drawing everything. It's about just suggesting a bit of texture. I just add one in there. Just on the edge. A few lines down. I might use the there we go, and it just adds a bit of texture. I'm still using the vanishing points. Gradually, particularly as you start getting to the background, you can start speeding up and doing these things just by hand, nice and quick. Shading some doors in. Okay. As I said, always remember the light's coming over your left-hand shoulder. This will cast a shadow straight down there. I'm actually going to firm up those lines underneath it. And you'll notice that's really going to pop up the clock. Can't see round the corner there, so I'm just using my thick and thin line. Anything I can't see around, I make thicker. And you can see this clock really starting to pop off the wall. Now that's obviously joined to the wall, so I don't need to make that one thick. I am just going to add a small frame. As I said, as time goes on, you can start doing some of this stuff more by hand, just sketching it in. Remember to use your vanishing points and so on. Just going to put some stripes in here. And sometimes you don't even have to suggest all of it. You can just... I'm going to just firm up this line. Firm up that line. There you go. Now obviously most of this side of the street is going to be quite heavily in shadow. Make my car a little bit darker. Don't be afraid to go right to black. You know, use the full range of colours in the pencil. Excellent. So that's just a little start. Hopefully that gives you plenty to be getting on with.